Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Living Learning Assistant intro session. We're going to start with introductions, go to the table of contents, and then we're going to go with the session. So my name is Madison Polk. I'm one of the coordinators for LLC or Living Learning Communities. I am primarily over the marketing functions within LLC.
Hello, and my name is Nikki. I'm one of the other LLC coordinators we have on our staff. I do a lot of administration work in the background, which includes making sure our room reservations are handled, as well as managing all of our incoming freshman applications so we can have all of you guys in your rooms by the time our summer semester starts, as well as the school year.
Thank you. Okay, so if you see me look to the side, I'm looking at the presentation. So just so that you know. But to start off, for our agenda, we're going to do an introduction to LLC, all about being an LLA, application and interview process. And since this is pre-recorded, we're going to have a contact email so that if you have any questions, feel free to email us and we'll get back to you. So, what is Living Learning Community, specifically the mission? Through the collaboration of faculty, staff, and community members, create a living learning environment for UT Dallas students that results in a well-rounded and engaged student population prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. So how does this break down? Fulfilling our mission means that the living learning community students live. So all the students live in either Andromeda or Vega residence halls. And we do that so that they have a lot of support systems around them. So within the hall, they should be around people that have similar majors as them. And this is a great way for them to have a good community around them and share like interests. The next aspect is learn. So LC does have the specific coursework and as well as programs. So your primary function as an LLA is to create these programs, and throughout the presentation, we might say events, programs, and events are interchangeable, but your primary function as an LLA is to create these programs that are for your community. So for example, if you're over social science, for example, you would be making programs specifically for social science students. So it's a great way for the residents to have an event that's specific for them and their needs. It can involve talking to campus partners, faculty, anyone that can really help them within their freshman experience. And then finally, community, so facilitation of an inclusive, welcoming environment. Within LC, we want everyone to feel welcome when they do come to an event. For example, if a pre-health student wants to go to an engineering event, they're completely fine to do that. And we just want everyone to feel comfortable engaging in the activities and talking to the other residents within the community. So our different communities include Arts, Humanities, and Technology. We often refer to them as AHT. They're located in Andromeda on the fourth floor with 72 students. Biomedical Engineering is on the second floor of Andromeda with 36 students. Computer Science is one of our larger LLCs on the third floor of Andromeda with 126 students. Engineering is in Andromeda on the fourth floor with 87 students. First generation, which we commonly refer to them as first gen, and social science are both in Vega. They're both some of our smaller LLCs on the second floor with 24 students. Management is in Vega as well on the first floor with 96 students. And pre-health is in Andromeda on the first floor, part of the fourth floor, and the entire fifth floor with 234 students. So that's our largest LLC. And one of the primary things that we want to let you know is no matter how big or small that the LLC is, we want every resident to really have a really great experience. So whether you are part of 24 students or 234, everything should be curated specifically for those students. So now that you know more about LLC, we can talk more about what you'll be doing as a living learning assistant or an LLA. So your primary job responsibilities would be programming, marketing, and administration, but the biggest chunk would be programming, with marketing and administration kind of flowing into programming. So programming means that you will be planning monthly social, academic, service, personal, and professional development events for your assigned community. So this really is where you can let your creativity really shine. We've had different events that are more social oriented. They've been more kind of personal development oriented, academic. We've had professors come, some different campus resources to help with tutoring. We've had stuff for wellness. If we give you guys some tips and tricks, it can be anything that really you want it to be, as long as it does kind of have those aspects that is important for LLC students. Next is marketing. So this is how you let your students or your residents know about the programs that are coming up. So that can involve tabling, poster and social media content creation, door knocking, mass emails. I primarily send out the mass emails, but if there's anything that you want to be sent out, you would talk to one of us about it. Door knocking is when we feel like the students might not have had the most exposure to the events coming up, so we want them to know more about the event at that current moment. Social media content creation, we're kind of amping that up a little more, especially with their Instagram account. So it's a great way for the residents to kind of see the behind the scenes and see the personality of the LLAs. And then poster creation, primarily you're going to be on Canva, and it's a great way to have some really engaging posters to send or to show the different residents about their events coming up, and then tabling as well as comment trolley. If you are or have been an LLC resident, you probably have seen the comment trolley come by and give you some goodies later in the evening. But those are great ways to kind of have those touch points within the community during the day. And then finally, administration. So this is kind of the behind the scenes, but just as important as programming and marketing. So we have to create some event proposals. So that means that you're showing your coordinator what you want your event to be. It's kind of like the bare bones about how you want your event to run. So that's a really important aspect of our programming model, as well as evaluation. So evaluating what went well, what could have changed, and it's just a really great way to kind of see how we would want to improve our events in the future or kind of keep some things the same. So it's a really great way to kind of um, just evaluate how your program went in general. And data entry. So although attendance isn't our most important metric within our programming, it's still helpful to know what might have resonated more with the students versus not, and then how we can tweak an event to kind of make it more engaging or attractive for a student to go to, as well as budgeting. So it's important that we also know where our money is going. You'll be responsible for kind of putting a plan together to buy any food, resources, or any materials that you want for your event. So it's important to know where that money is going and how we're utilizing it. So these are some examples of an LLA program. So we've had in the past semester a biomedical engineering lab tour, which was great. It was really helpful for the students to see something that they might have wanted to do in the future. So they were able to actually do a tour of the labs. The pre-health hosted a wellness wonderland. So they were able to make their own little wellness goodie bags, as well as get some really great tips about healthy habits for their own self wellness, as well as Super Engineer Cart, which was thrown by Engineering LLC. So it was a great way to learn about some on-campus resources and kind of combine it with that fun aspect of a Mario Kart tournament. So really showing the creativity so that everyone's kind of learning, but also having a fun, great time. And then we just recently had Love with Respect thrown by or Computer Science LLC. So it was a great way to learn about boundaries, red flags, green flags, and also kind of explain that LLC isn't just academic based, it's also there to make your residents more well-rounded as well. So one of our former LLAs had a really great quote about what it meant for her to be in the position. So my favorite part of being in LLA would be hosting the events, seeing all of the residents come together and use the resources we have provided to develop further and their skills is incredibly rewarding, inspires me to create more events. So this position is a really rewarding position. It is some hard work. It can be fast paced, but it's definitely really rewarding to use our resources and give the freshmen a really great experience. So I'm going to turn it over to Nikki.
Shout out to Hannah. Love you, miss you. So, in terms of your average time commitment for this job, you'll be paid $11.50 an hour for 10 hours a week. This will take place during August of 2026 all the way through May 2027. So, it is expected that if you are offered this position and you choose to accept, you will be here for the full academic year. You are also going to be required to attend August training and January training. These are both mandatory. The dates that are currently listed on the screen are tentative because we're still figuring out our calendar. So when it comes closer to those dates and you have been accepted into the position, we will communicate with you the finalized dates. But for now, please presume that August 10th through the 14th of 2026 is for August training, and then January 11th through January 15th for 2027 are our winter and summer dates respectively for training. So a typical week that you have 10 hours in a week for, four of them are usually taken up by meetings, three of them with an event, and three for office hours. So to break it down further in depth for you, you will have one meeting a week with your supervisor. So either me, Madison, or another supervisor in the role. That's usually the chair chance to go over how are your events going? What do you want to develop professionally on? Or are there any other topics related or not related to the job that you want to cover so we can make sure that you're doing okay or are continuing to develop yourself? We also have a weekly 2 hour meeting that will change based on everyone's schedules. So we do intentionally try to schedule these meetings so everyone can attend. This is your chance to see your other LLAs. We are all caught up on the same page together, as well as just really get together. So if something does need to be worked on, everyone is in the same room that can work on the assignment. Lastly, you will have miscellaneous meetings. So sometimes you will be collaborating with other LLAs and you need extra time outside of your normal meetings. Those meetings will usually take up about 1 hour of your time per week to make sure, hey, are we actively working on tasks? Are there things we need to be doing together? Or just figuring out, are we all on the same page? You will typically work about one event a week. Sometimes it's two. So those will typically be about 3 hours a week per event. So again, it's usually going to be about one event a week. We do these events typically at night. Sometimes there will be a weekend event, but we will notify you in advance if there is a required weekend event. And lastly, any hours that are not dedicated to the above meetings plus your events will be given back to you guys as office hours. They must be between 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday, and that is your time to work on your events. So, for example, getting quarter flyers done, designing things, printing things out, cutting things, preparing basic event materials or gathering supplies, that kind of thing, those will happen during your office hours. And you typically get about three of them per week. It varies on how busy your particular schedule is versus all of it. And something I do want to note is that apart from certain things that will be predetermined at the beginning of the semester. So, for example, we will pull your class schedules, and that is how we determine the LLA team meeting so we can get the most amount of people to be there. That one will be required. Your LLC's event will also usually be predetermined in advance because we pull all the LLC students' class schedules and mathematically figure out what is the best day for the program. And those will be given to you in advance. Apart from those, you usually have the free time to schedule out your hours as necessary. So if you do have commitments, we are willing to work with you. And also, obviously, if you have class, you are not going to be scheduled for work when you have class, for example. But apart from the required meetings, the required events, or any other event that we delineate is required, you usually will have some degree of flexibility for you to plan out your hours throughout the week. So they can change as necessary as long as all tasks are getting done and all required events are being attended to. So, in order for you to qualify to be an LLA and maintain your position, the number one thing is that you must maintain a minimum GPA of 3.0. This goes for almost every single on-campus position. You must maintain a GPA of 3.0. We do have a preference for prior LLC residents. It is not a requirement. And so if you have the gumption, the drive, and the skills necessary to do it, and you have the skills, I am more than happy to hire you, but previous LLC residents will be preferred, especially from the most recent academic year, so that way you are more ingratiated with the community and you understand your people's needs more. I will note that for those we hire, we do try to match their majors to their respective LLC as best as possible. It is never guaranteed because we are basically filling on wherever we do have vacancies available, but we do try our best to match your skill set to the LLC that we believe you will be the best fit on. In order for you to succeed on this role, you must be creative and detail oriented, have strong organization skills, and have an active interest in event planning. This position is very heavy on event planning. It is where the majority of your job tasks will go, and that is one of the biggest skills that you will be developing on this job. So if you have a very creative mind, you want to help reach out to students, flex off like you've had this big idea you've wanted to do forever, and see initiative drive through, those are the things that we are looking for this position. So in terms of the application timeline, this will also be available either on our website or on the posters that you will see throughout campus. February 13th, so by the time this video is posted, which is going to be Friday, this application will open up. It'll be available on Handshake or on our link tree. March 27th, which is also a Friday, is when the application will close at 11:59 p.m. and you must have everything available on your application in order for it to be considered. After that point, the coordinators will review and send out individual interview offers that will take place on April 1st and April 2nd. For candidates that do that interview and we decide that we'd like to move you on, April 9th and April 10th will be group interviews where you will be interviewed amongst other candidates as well, so that way we can see how you interact with other people. After that point, when we finalize down the list of candidates that we wish to send offers to, those decisions will be sent out on May 1st. So, what include in your application? Because you must have all three of these things in order for us to consider your application in the first place. You must include your resume, you must include one professional reference, and you must include answers to all of the following supplemental questions. All of these are separate documents, by the way. So, for the supplemental questions, which can all be on one doc, but it needs to have all four questions answered. One, why are you interested in the living and learning assistant position, and what motivated you to apply? Two, what skills and strengths do you possess that would help you succeed in this role? Three, in your opinion, what is the role of an LLA within a living learning community, and why is it important? And four, if you could design and host any event for your LLC, what would it be and why? So, just to reiterate, you must, if you would like to be considered for this position, you must apply by 11:59 p.m. by March 27th, which is a Friday at the very end of March. And you can apply either through the Linktree, so Linktree at Living Learning UTD, or through Handshake. There is also a work study one available should you qualify for a work study program. And so thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video. It was a pleasure to tell you about this position. If you do have any questions or inquiries about this job or have questions about your application, you can contact one of us coordinators at livinglearning@utdallas.edu, and a coordinator will be able to reach out to you should you have any questions. So thank you so much for your time. My name is Nikki. Madison spoke earlier. We deeply would like to see your guys' applications, and we hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you all later, okay? Bye then. Take care.